surprise, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll come naturally.
I just want to make sure that, Can you zoom it in?
I zoom it in. The only way I can do that is to actually physically.
Oh, that's no big deal.
Is that better?
Yeah. And then angle it down a little bit, please. Yeah. Oh, we're on.
Yeah, go ahead and say hello.
All right, let me just close this out here.
All right, we're always working.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Andy Southgate, Resident Life Facilitator, and
Colin Bollinger. I am the fitness assistant here at Westminster Palms.
And today is Monday, May 11th, and this is Westminster Weekend Wake Up. I think you call it Weekday Wake Up.
Weekly
Wake Up.
Weekly. Yeah.
So don't worry, we'll get all the graphics together, and eventually we'll have all this fun stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
So, and we have a brand new microphone, so hopefully you can hear us a little better. I promise you I will not try to sing. That will be a bonus that I would give to you guys, no problem. Mm-hmm. And Colin, what's going on? What happened this weekend?
Mother's Day happened, right? So came in here early yesterday and got to experience the Mother's Day parade with you. It was awesome. And just a super success, I thought. And then I went home and had a surprise birthday shower. So if you haven't heard yet already, I'm having a baby on June 1st. And Chelsea thought that she was going out to a restaurant, and she went in the bedroom to get ready for, how girls do. She was back there for an hour, and we just completely transformed the whole house. And it was a crazy birthday shower. And then she came out, and we had a Zoom birthday shower. So I think there were 9 of her family members were on there. And she opened a bunch of gifts and stuff. So it was pretty fun.
That's awesome. So How many people did it take to plan this all together?
Oh, it was probably 3 or 4 planned it. And then you had 5 more attendees on top of that. But 3 or 4 of us planned it. I took care of all the decorations. And Chelsea's sister, who lives in town, made a cake and got all of the gifts sent to her. She wrapped them all, dropped them at the house during that hour that Chelsea was in the back. And then Chelsea's niece, she's older, but she was taking care of getting the invitations out and getting the Zoom set up. And then Chelsea's other sister did a lot of the communicating with the people as far as who to put on the list and things like that. So there was a lot. Yeah.
Everything takes a lot of coordination, and everything's on Zoom nowadays. Like we said last week, it's 2020. You got to get on Zoom. If you need to get on Zoom, there's a tutorial for that on the under the pin line icon.
Okay.
So it teaches you how to get onto that if you want to do that. I think the question that everybody wants to know, Colin, is how is Oliver doing adjusting? We know that Oliver likes attention.
Yeah.
He is an independent soul. How's he doing with the 4th member of the family coming in?
Yeah, so I was actually really surprised about that yesterday because we've gone to lots of family gatherings when he was 4 and 5 years old, and he just dominated, took over the room. But yesterday he really kind of sat back and let Chelsea be the kind of main focus and point of attention. He did really good. I was really surprised.
Our little guy is growing up.
Yeah, he's transforming. So hopefully it all works out. I'm sure there'll be bumps in the road. There always are, but it went really well.
So do you think he's going to embrace the big brother role?
Oh yeah, he's gonna love it. I think he still will there'll be the moments where, he's pushed to the back and he has to cry out for a little bit of attention. But I think he's gonna be good for her, and she'll be good for him.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 1 brother, 1 sister, both younger.
Younger.
Yeah. I took care of them a lot when I was growing up. So.
Are you still taking care of them?
Not so much anymore. No, they turned out much better than we thought. We were very, very surprised by both Cameron and Courtney because I did a lot for them when they were growing up. But they're both really in a good situation now.
Well, I'm an only child, so you can tell I suffer from the only child syndrome. I like to have the spotlight and the attention all on me. And Oliver has been an only child up until now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always fascinating to me how birth order affects who we are as people
Absolutely.
and how we behave and how we relate to others. I have a good friend who is an only child, and she just thinks the world revolves around her. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
convinced that it was her birth order. She's 35 years old, and still, when she says jump, she expects everybody to say how high.
Wow.
But that's the way her world has always been. She's never known any different. It's kind of like when you have a person who's really, really pretty and everybody in the world is nice to them.
Yep.
And you want to say, you know what? The world is not like this.
I know.
Put a paper bag over their head,
Mm-hmm.
and then let them experience the world for real and see if the people really are rude.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else happened over the weekend that was exciting?
No, not really. I'm trying to think. What did we do Saturday?
Saturday was a long time ago. It was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And in quarantine days, every day kind of runs together.
Yeah, I don't.
You must have exercised with Oliver.
Yeah, I can't remember that. Oh, I know what we did. We went and got two of his little friends and let them climb trees at a park for like 4 hours. I just went to the park, and then because he's a single dad,
Mhm.
and there's no one else in the picture, and he has these 8 and 9-year-old boys, and they just are just terrors to him. I mean, they're not bad boys, but it's just hard to take care of those two boys. He still works full time, and these boys are basically living at home on their own and things like that. So we went and picked them up, and we went to the park at Crescent Lake Park, and they wanted to get on the the equipment, but you can't, not allowed to get on the equipment. They were like begging, so they just made trees into equipment, and then they ran an entire mile around the Crescent Lake.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, as kids, just wanted to run around. So just let him get it out and let him have some time to himself. Let Chelsea have some time to herself. That's what I did for a while. It may not have been 4 hours, but it was a while.
Now, when we were little, we would climb trees and play in the woods for hours and hours and hours. Nowadays, when you take kids to the park and let them climb to the trees, do the helicopter parents yell and scream at you for letting them climb in the trees?
No, nobody yelled at me, screamed at me, but
I guarantee you there were helicopter parents that were talking bad about you under their breath.
Yeah.
And they were probably thinking, oh, who lets these kids climb trees? They could fall and get hurt.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's what they need to do.
Right.
That's what teaches you.
It's character building.
Yes, exactly.
I got hit one time when I was in middle school, and I learned at an early age that I need to keep my mouth quiet sometimes. And I tell you what, getting hit, I got unexpectedly hit. I got sucker punched, but I was running my mouth, and I deserved it. But I'm so glad that I learned that lesson at an early age. The kids have to learn to face adversity and how to bounce back and when to be quiet. All important lessons.
And so many times I fell out of trees, and you got to learn how to fall. That's I tell that to my players sometimes. I'm like, some of the guys you see that are often injured for basketball, I think they don't know how to fall right. Because you'll see other guys who are super aggressive and they're perfectly fine. They just know how to fall. There is a lesson to be learned there, and I think growing up and being active, you learn those things.
Tuck and roll.
Yes. Yeah.
Tuck and roll. It's an important lesson for all the kids. It's also a great stage name for possibly a new rock and roll act.
There you go.
So anything else happen over the weekend?
No, I think that was it. Yeah.
2 whole days. Well, I took Friday off because I worked on Sunday. And so Friday, my wife and I rode our bicycles to the beach. We got there nice and early before anybody else was there.
Wow. What beach?
We went to Pass-a-Grille.
Oh, wow.
So we live in Pinellas Point, all the way down south. And so Pass-a-Grille and St. Pete Beach kind of meet right at the causeway, and so we take our bikes across the causeway. Yeah. And we spent a couple hours there. We ran on the beach, which, as you know, is incredibly difficult.
Yep.
So we ran 2 miles, which is running like 4 miles on the road.
Yep.
So we rode our bikes there. It's about 5 miles by bike. Ran 2 miles and then rode 5 miles back. So that was really nice. It was a Friday morning. It was quiet. It was a beautiful day. The dolphins were out. The birds were out. It was just gorgeous.
Your calves hurt?
So my calves are a little sore.
The bottom part of the calf?
No,
really?
No, not really.
See, that's what I feel when I run the beach, because I went interval training on the beach last Thursday, and it gets sore at the bottom of the calf. It's the weirdest spot for me, almost like where the Achilles meets. But yeah.
Well, there was a whole movement of people running 2.23 miles on Friday for a social movement, and so my wife and I joined that.
Gotcha.
So we really didn't run that far. My wife and I are both runners, and so we're accustomed to running a lot longer. So I just kind of picked my legs up a little more and almost trotted.
Did you run near the water or in the deep sand?
We ran near the water.
Okay, that's the difference.
Yeah,
because I was running in the deep sand, and when you push, yeah. So.
And then the other thing that happened this weekend was we were dog sitting for some friends. So we had a dog with us all weekend, and this dog was very, very lazy and very, very quiet and very easy dog to take care of.
Was it big?
He's about 70 pounds, so he's not real big, but probably closer to 60, I would say.
Yeah.
But he was about 9 years old, so he's a little on the older side. So he just likes to eat. That's about all he does. But it was nice to have an animal in the house. My wife and I don't have any pets, and so a companion around, and it was nice to be able to help out a friend. They did a staycation at the Don Cesar.
Oh, nice.
So we kept their dog for them while they did that.
Okay. So I don't even know what is that that just opened up for phase 1, the Don? I don't even know.
Most hotels in town have been open this whole time.
Yeah, I didn't know.
They've just been increasing their cleaning and sanitizing procedures.
Okay.
But for the most part, there have been a few hotels that have shut down, but there's quite a few people that are stuck here that can't get home as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're home now, but initially they couldn't get home.
Yeah. And I know that they were open to healthcare workers and things like that as well. So
yes. And then of course Sunday was Mother's Day. So I had a great time here, as Colin pointed out. My favorite thing on Sunday was looking up into the apartments and seeing all of your faces looking down. It was so cool to stand on the sidewalk of the parking lot and just see all these heads in the windows. And then it was awesome to see our assisted living and our health center residents who got to see their family, because they don't get to see them as often as you get to see your family. So you probably talk on your family every day in video chat. It's a little harder for the assisted living residents and the health center residents. And so the joy on their faces was extraordinary. There were a lot of happy people on Sunday, and we had 100 people join our parade.
100, wow! I was wondering.
You saw it from your windows. You could see the sidewalks were full.
Yeah, it was
just full.
Yeah, it was a bunch of people, and they all did really good, keeping themselves spaced out and everything. It was nice.
So tell us what's going on this week. What's coming up?
So I'm still really excited. If you didn't get to see the first edition of the team member tales we did last week, that was a good one. We asked, what are you doing to stay fit during the stay-at-home orders and all that? So we're going to transition this week, and we're asking about people's previous jobs. So we're asking all of our employees, not all, but as many as I can get interviewed, give us a job that you would have worked at that we wouldn't have known about, and we wouldn't expect from you, or something like that. And maybe even give us a short story about it. I know I've already got some pretty good stories that are pretty funny. So I think it'll be a really, really good one. And if you want to check out the old one, you can check out the old one on MyW Life. So it's posted up there, and you can get kind of used to the format and be ready for Thursday night with that new team member tales.
Give us a teaser. What's the best job you heard so far? You don't have to tell us who it's from.
Oh, well, actually, it's the best story, but it's just at a fast food restaurant. But it's a good story.
Okay.
It's a good story. Yes, fast food restaurant story.
And tell us about you. Are you going to share your job?
Oh, yeah. So like Andy, I've worked lots of places. Lots of places.
So let me stop you right there. You see, the difference between us and their generation, the viewers' generation, is that generation got a job and stayed with it consistently. That was very much a previous tendency. Nowadays, people stay in jobs 2 to 5 years. And that's it.
Yep.
I get antsy after 3 or 4 years in one job, and I'm ready to find another one.
Yeah.
And so I worked on the cruise ship for almost 10 years, but I did many different jobs and roles there.
Gotcha.
So I've been here 3 years now, and I love it here. But that's about the max you have in 2020 for job life. People move on pretty quickly.
Everything.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that we're just conditioned to accept change a little bit more. I think even with shorter attention span, with on-demand TV, with less commercials, with being able to have media on your phone all the time, those things train your brain to be different. And the longevity of a career also can lead to some monotony, I think, to people. So that's the way I would look at it.
I think it's technology and travel. I think we have more access to more opportunities now.
Absolutely, that too.
It used to be back in the day to get a job, you would take the job out of the newspaper, you'd walk to the place, and you'd apply in person. Have you ever applied for a job in person initially?
Yeah, definitely.
When's the last time you did that?
Oh,
when you went there to fill out the application. You see, because this doesn't exist anymore. This whole idea of going to the place, showing your face, saying, I want this job, taking the sign out of the window and pointing to it, filling out the application, does not exist. Non-existence. Nowadays, you fill out an application online along with thousands of other people.
Yeah.
And in fact, there are hundreds of different websites to where you would apply for a job. And so that idea of saying, I'm your person, I'm here to work, and showing your face and smiling, those days are gone. Nowadays, it's all about your resume and knowing somebody to get you an interview.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But I definitely did it for my newspaper job and for my job as a, what's it called?
As a dancer?
Yes. No, the theater job. I worked at a theater when I was 16, and I definitely went in person and applied there. I think I may have even did an in-person application for Big Lots, which I worked Big Lots overnights when I first moved here, when I was still a personal trainer, but I didn't know anybody here, and I didn't have any money. So I had to be my personal trainer during the day and Big Lots overnight. And I'm pretty sure I went to Big Lots and just applied in person because it was near my house, and I wanted a discount there.
When I was 22, I worked for a staffing agency, and they placed me somewhere, and I filled out an application with them. I'm pretty sure that was the last time I did that. So that was 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the landscape has definitely changed.
Yeah.
So I want to share with you one of the jobs that I had that I didn't share on the video because I've had a ton of different jobs. I worked at a pizza place, and I was the bus boy. I was 15 at the time.
Okay.
And it was awesome. I loved it because I got free lunches and I got to have a meatball sandwich every day. But of course, everybody has a fast food horror story. Even though this wasn't technically fast food, we did pop out lunch pretty fast. We served pizzas on pre-cooked dough.
Yep.
Pre-made dough.
Yeah.
And we didn't sell nearly as many of the 18-inch ones. And so, of course, the owner would scrape the mold off with his pocket knife before he would put them into the oven.
Oh, man.
But it's 2020, we're COVID-19, so you're not going out to eat, so you don't have to worry about stuff like that.
So, I'll share one that I wasn't going to share as well. I've worked at 4 pizza places, actually, but I'm not going to go into the pizza one. I'll go a little bit different. I also worked at Verizon Wireless while I was in college. And they gave you, so they had a pretty good benefits deal, right? So first they would give you a phone and they pay for all the service, and that was like your phone to use. And so you're good with that.
Oh, yeah.
Then each month you could get a different phone to try out, because this was back at the time when you didn't just have a Galaxy and an iPhone. There were hundreds of phones out. People were competing.
Right.
You know? And like tons of different models and makes. So we got a different phone every month to try out, so that way we could reference them to the customers and we knew what we were talking about, right? So they give us the, it was called the GZ1, and this was the first ones where they were supposed to be unbreakable, right? Where, you know, they showed like a construction worker dropping under his car and he'd run over it and it was fine or whatever. So I wanted to test that. So my friends and I would just do everything we could to try and break this thing, right? And so finally what we had to do to break it was we had to take it up on some big building, like a hotel building, and drop out of the window. Had a friend down there to make sure nobody was around. We dropped it, and it finally shattered. And it didn't like shatter into pieces. It still was like, okay, we dropped it like 4 or 5 stories.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The funniest part is we just got a return box. I take the pieces, I put it in the return box, ship it back to them, and they sent me my next phone, and that was it. I thought I was like, I didn't really know how the program worked. I was like, I'm gonna have to pay for this. This is gonna be ridiculous. But they just sent me the next phone, and I was good to go. So
wow, you got out scot-free.
I got out scot-free. There was a lot of things I got out scot-free on that job.
So that's our team member tales video. That's going to be Thursday at 6.
Yep, Thursday at 6.
Thursday at 6. So I also want to share with you a new video that we created, behind the scenes dining video. And I love this. This is fantastic. So You get your meals delivered to you every day, and you hear a knock on the door, and you open the door, poof, your food is there. But do you really know what goes into all that? It takes about 20 people, and it takes up to 3 hours for this whole process to happen. And they're doing it 4 times a week. It is a ton of work. It's a ton of people. And we have filmed a behind the scenes video so you can exactly see how it goes, basically farm to table. And that would be from kitchen to your front door. And so this video is going to play at noon today, right after Happy Hearts. Happy Hearts is 30 minutes, right?
It is.
And then we're going to play it at 4:30 and 5:30, just before the documentary at 6 o'clock tonight. And you can also see that on My W Life as well if you go to the Palms TV icon. But you're not going to want to miss this dining video. It is amazing.
It is awesome.
The amount of work that goes into it and the amount of hands that put effort into getting your food.
Some island chicken this weekend. We did that on Saturday as well, so that took some time. And that's a pretty good one. And then we also made, they're not healthy at all, but 2-ingredient donuts. So they're just, it's pretty awesome. It's just yogurt and self-rising flour. And you just throw it in the fryer.
No sugar?
No sugar, because the yogurt has sugar in it.
Right.
We put a glaze on the outside. So that's part of the whole video. So we'll see that, and you can check it out. But it was pretty cool how easy it was. It was super easy, and they're donuts, like legit. I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. So I just saw it on, I don't know, Instagram or something, and just was like, hey, let's try it. Especially since Chelsea's still pregnant, we can get by with it, eat whatever. And then
and then back by popular demand, we have Wednesday afternoon. We're going to do happy hour.
Great.
Mobile happy hour coming to your door. No behind the scenes video that goes with it. But starting around 2 o'clock, we're going to load up the carts with wine, and we're going to come to your door. Make sure that you have a wine glass ready. We're going to use your glasses. That's better for the environment. And of course, we'll have all varieties of wine. And yes, we are going to Palm Bay and Palm Isle. We don't want to forget about those lovely people in the smaller building. And sometimes they get forgotten, but we will not forget them this Wednesday. So anytime after 2 o'clock, somebody could knock on your door and show up with a glass of wine. Now that is great service. What more could you ask for? Snacks? Oh yeah, we'll have those too. No problem.
Awesome.
Anything else going on?
Yeah. We are also going to have our weekly PowerPoint presentation. But we're going to hopefully be moving in a little bit different direction. I'm going to put out a call to residents. Any resident who wants to share an experience with me, one of their travels, I'll sit down and interview you, and we can put what you experienced if you were in Italy, what kind of food was there, what was the nutrition like, what was the culture like, and we'll put that into a presentation form on Fridays. So this Friday we'll probably still do one of mine, but I want to kind of shift it up and give the residents an ability to kind of put some of their input into it. If you have pictures, I can add those into the presentation and things like that. But basically me making a presentation for any residents who'd like to get that information out. So kind of a firsthand account of some cultural travels. I think I'm just going to adjust it just a little bit because I think that'd be pretty cool to get some of our own residents involved in it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where's someplace you've been that you think other people haven't been that they need to go?
Okay. So I have not been able to travel that much. I've only been out of the country one time.
You can pick a small town in Indiana. That's fine.
The place that I've been that most people haven't been is Havana in Cuba, but I wouldn't recommend it. It is the epitome of third world.
Well, there must be some good things. What did you enjoy about it?
There were great. I mean, the fact that they're so poor keeps them communally tied because they're all in the same boat. Like there isn't anybody who is in a different social class than them that they ever see. The rulers may be in that social class, but nobody else is outside of that boat. They're all poor. They're all struggling. And that makes a strong community. And there's hardly any crime because the punishments are so hard in Cuba that, I mean, very, very small offenses can lead to almost death penalties. So you can just go out in the street and be with the people, and the people are the people. So it's that part of it was definitely the best part. We stayed in a hostel-like kind of place where we were with people from countries in the Mediterranean, people from Canada, people from the Middle East, and all of us would just go out at night and we'd be with the Cuban people, and it was a great experience.
And so you would say that the happiness level was higher than you expected?
Yeah, definitely considering the circumstances, the people were just they were. I mean, they can only use internet for like a couple hours a day, and they would all pack to one park, and then they would leave and disperse because that was the only time they ever had it.
Mm-hmm.
But it just allowed for it was slower, right? Slower lifestyle, so just so much different than here. And just night after night, I didn't have any internet service. We never even used the Wi-Fi for 5 days. So we didn't use our phones for 5 days, right?
Which is an atrocity in 2020.
Yeah, but it wasn't for us. Like, I mean, I enjoyed it so much, and so that part of it was nice. It's scary. I mean, their houses are falling down. Many of them windows have been broken out, and they can't replace them. They don't have the stuff that there's toilet paper rations, things like that. So it was crazy, but it was a good experience. That's the place that I've probably been to that most people haven't been to.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say?
Place I've been to that most people haven't been to is easily New Zealand. New Zealand is an incredible place. The landscape and the mountains and the water are all amazing. The wildlife is very, very unique. They have a lot of species there that are not found anywhere else. And the people are just so unique. The people on the islands in New Zealand, they definitely move to the beat of their own drum. But I would say the happiness level was very high there as well. And I think that traveling is one of those things that gives you that perspective, that helps you with your own happiness. And I know you at Westminster Palms, the residents here, have all traveled quite a bit as well. And that's part of the reason we have such great culture, is because everyone is adjusted and thankful for what we have. Because when you go to those other cultures, you see how they're happy with less sometimes. And that's always been a strong impression to me, is that,
Absolutely.
wow, I should be more grateful for what I have. New Zealand, though, is a long way away.
Yeah.
It's about as far as you can go without coming back.
Yeah, you're right. It
And
really
a lot of
is.
times you have to connect through Australia as well. So you might have to go 15 to 17 hours to Australia
Yeah.
and then hop on a plane with a connection for another few hours to New Zealand. So
Did you get to go hiking while you're in New Zealand?
the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful, beautiful country and great people. And they have possums there. You ever seen the New Zealand possum?
Mm-mm.
So you guys have got to check this out. It's not a possum like we would have here in the States, the opossum.
Yeah.
This looks more like a cross between a chinchilla and a weasel.
Okay.
Has 4 longer legs, so it's about this big. The legs are about that long, and a tail it's about the same. And it's just I don't think it's a rodent, but it's about the size of a large rodent. And they have very, very soft fur. And like a sheep, they will shear them, and they make material out of possum fur. It's very, very soft, very popular, and it's a pest as well. So they exterminate the possums there as well. It's a very, very unique animal. You need to get on Google the New Zealand possum and see what it looks like. It's a very, very unique animal.
Interesting. All right.
We also are working on a car wash this week. We're tentatively planning on Friday afternoon. It's actually going to be more of just a rinse. We're not going to subject our employees to scrubbing your vehicles, but we are going to take a pressure washer and rinse down your vehicles, because we know your vehicles have been sitting for a long time. And they just have a lot of gunk on them. And so more details on that to follow. That's going to be Friday afternoon, probably going to take place behind Palm Center. And we'll do it for a couple hours and let you line up your vehicles and pull around and spray them down.
Sounds good to me.
Anything else going on?
I'll probably be wearing my Richard Simmons outfit.
That's the reason I picked Friday afternoon, so that I can change clothes and get all wet and then just go home.
That's a good pick, yeah.
Yeah, that way. So don't call me after 1 o'clock on Friday. I'm not going to be working. I'm going to be in my skivvies in the back doing a car wash for you guys.
That's pretty much all I've got for this week.
Okay, great. Well, we'd like to thank you guys for joining us. A lot of stuff happening. Make sure you check out the calendar on My W Life. The calendar is in the Palms TV and the pen line icon. That'll tell you everything's happening on TV. And we have many, many, many things on TV that you got to watch. And we will see you later.